He's based in Boston and help entrepreneurs to approach the US market. I consider him as a bridge between Africa and Boston as well. He has a master in psychology and mental health, which is amazing because I'm also a psychology student. And he's the founder and lead consultant for Consciously Exposed. He's a professional development consultant for the Boston Public Health Commission. He has been an entrepreneur in resident for the Boston Public Library. He has been a Boston consultant for the Black Economic Council of Massachusetts, and so forth. So he has a lot of experience working with African entrepreneurs that are coming to the US. And most of all, he has the attitude and willingness to help entrepreneurs to understand what they need to successfully scale and grow in the future. So Leonard, the microphone is all yours. I'm gonna make you co-host in case I lose connection or something happens. So the session won't get interrupted, but the room is all yours. And remember to try to turn on your cameras. It will be more helpful in this way.
Thank you, Eric. Well, just to make sure I'm not talking to myself. Hello, everyone.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Okay, just want to make sure. Can anybody hear me good?
Yeah.
Yes, we're audible.
All right, wonderful. Good. Oh, yeah. You guys don't want money? I can't hear you. Show me the money.
Show me the money.
There you go. You got to have the attitude of showing the money. Or drop in the chat, show the money. So, yeah, I mean, essentially, with you investors, like anytime you have from a startup perspective, you really have to understand that investors, U.S. investor overall, always looking like, listen, are you confident, right? Are you confident? Are you clear? Are you serious about the problem you're addressing? Is it catchy? Is it needed right now? You're thinking about all the problem you're trying to address in your solution. Of course, you have to make sure that this solution, the market's really needed. Is it going to grow fast? I think it's like the three, because the three major things, because they want to invest in real people with smart, simple solution. I know a lot of the industry, whether you name it sector, you got to integrate tech and the AI and so on. But it's good to kind of simplify from an investor standpoint of view, because they're looking at it's all about you. So I think, within 30 seconds, it's good to kind of catch their attention. You want to be able to get them a hook, right? Tell the story, tell the question. It's like, for example, if you're investing like in healthcare problem, you want to, let's say your little brother couldn't get a medicine, for example, in rural Tanzania, you got to tell that story. You got to first tell the story rapidly, get them hooked, within 30 seconds. And, and then from there, you can kind of show the problem, the solution, the data. So the hook is important. You have to show that the problem is happening right now. I think they want to really see that. Of course, you have to define the problem. Defining the problem means that, as you can see, keep it simple, keep it relatable. Because there's two things, the emotional aspect and the financial pain. You want them to feel it and tell them how you're going to fix it. Because oftentimes people overlook the emotion. No, it hurts. You have to kind of look at how do you define the problem clearly? It don't be too, robotic. You really have to be into it. Keep it simple, relatable. I hope that makes sense. Just over here. Present a scalable, simple solution. Explain what it does and how it works in plain language. You have to demonstrate clearly the value and the ability to grow. 10 times better. So you basically have to show that your solution is 10 times better and it can expand beyond your current market. So essentially, your ability to show that what you are, the problem you're solving, your solution can expand globally. So you can be anywhere in the world, even if you were in Tanzania. If you can find a way to paint that picture that can just be solved, can expand across border, you know, not just locally. I mean, it's important to have that global mindset. I tell a lot of my African founder across the continent, the world is global. We're traveling. Even if you have not travel, I think you have to understand that, we have all the tool and technology to be able to kind of think globally. So just have the mindset to have a global solution, right? It's important to have that kind of mindset. So again, clear value, how does it work? Plain language, you know, you have to clarify, the business model, clarify how you're going to make money. You have to clarify how you're going to make money. Especially, well, I have to say reframing. Think about reframing. Especially when you engage U.S. investors. I know everyone even when you pitch them, if you engage, hey, my name is this so and so. Now you have to get to like the data of the problem. You have to be able to say, you know what, every year farmers in Tanzania lose 30% crops, something like that because they can't predict, I think agriculture, yeah. My startup use AI power to AI powered drone to fix it. Something like that. I'm just making this up. The mindset is to be able to, when you engage with confidence, you get to the point, straight up, the problem, what's broken, right? And then you have to kind of show the transaction, the license, in terms of legal aspect of it too, because you have to be honest. I know oftentimes men, across the continent, we do come from informal network. Here in the US, you do have formal net. If you can please mute yourself. Not sure. Then we'll get to the questions in a second. But I want to emphasize you as an African startup and founder with amazing idea, brilliant brain. Remember just to have a global mindset, but you also have to, of course, walk through your growing plane clearly. U.S. investors, they love the land and expand model. So basically, a lot of U.S. investor wants to know how is it scalable? Can we scale this locally and globally? Can you expand? You don't have to have the perfect answer. You have to have kind of like a simple solution. Just kind of sell the vision. Explain how you can expand. Explain how this thing can grow. How much you're raising. We talked about that. What milestone with the money hits. You can show, listen, maybe with $10,000, maybe in 2 months, we're going to have this pilot, show your budget, and we are open to partnership, mentorship. I always mention we're open to partnership. We're open to feedback. Our short-term goal is maybe to try to raise $20,000 for blah, blah, blah. Then the long-term vision is ask for open partnership. They have to see the whole picture, the holistic picture that you got to be in it, to show in addition to money, what else? Because this is a long journey, guys. What they really want, that's a good question. What U.S. investors really want, strong coachable team, you have to be coachable. You have to live locally, but with traveling a globalized world. You have to share why now is your solution. What is the momentum that you got going on right now as we speak? Do you have user traction, proof execution? What's your global vision, ground and real demand? You can come from the continent, speaking different languages. I think the mindset is completely different. U.S. investor, he also have to, I spend time to kind of do presentation of African market, some of the top sectors across the continent, some of the incredible talent from so many African countries, and they love engaging, but we have to kind of find different approach, especially include the vision, but trust is important too, because it goes both ways. Investor wants the team they believe in. So you got to have a team that, that's what investors are really looking for. What did I put? The bonus farming market analogy. Yeah, basically just an analogy. Basically, an analogy meaning that you're not just pitching, you're building a relationship. You have to think of like you're offering a product at a farmer market. That's just an example. Everybody's been to a farmer market, right? You enter the farmer market. You got to have that vision, like, hey, make it easy to understand, easy to trust. Don't assume that they actually know what you're talking about. The better you simplify, um, the better, they can kind of say easy yes. Don't make things too complicated. Because it's important to, when you pitch, when you're engaging, hey, my name's the so and so. I have my brother or my aunt. She almost died from a diabetic episode. Um, in a rural village, where there's barely electricity, it's tough for her to get around. So we'll build a kind of solar power, because, blah, 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 there's this, we build a solar power that we thinking about 90% of click might use it, stuff like that. I'm just making things up. But the idea is to be able to simplify things. I think overall, people talk about investors, the mindset of, what is some kind of category? Because I know we talk a lot about that out there, but we don't really know. I mean, when you say VC firm, these are traditional venture capitalists. For them, what they care about is big return, fast growth. You have to show them that, hey, listen, we're trying to raise $1 million. That's going to be scalable, blah, blah, blah. Angels investors, they're more of, social change and job, even impact investors, then tend to be kind of more patient, but you still have to show how you're gonna, make some money, have a financial return, also make an impact. I think the rest, when you're talking about investment, the combinations between like foundation and global. But the bottom line here is that, yeah, I think it's about realizing at the end of the day, man, listen, no matter what happened, you have to stay confident. You have to say to yourself that you matter on the global stage, because it's a mindset. I think it's the mindset first. It's you to really be in tune that you have to trust your product. You're not here to beg anyone. I like to say it because sometimes people are nervous. I think you stay confident, show that you're building. When I coach, I just tell people, listen, you can smile and stay firm. You don't have to have all the answers. They have some Q&A, and kind of get a sense of what sector you're in. So
Before that, I've got a question, Leonard.
Sure.
What would be the best practices when startups are trying to approach the US market, looking for investors? Where should they look at? How could they start building these relationships and finding those investors?
Great question. I think the first thing is to also realize that these investors, their information, their website is available online. So one, look at your sector. If you're in agriculture, I don't know, tech, AI, and so on, I mean, look online, man. You see the Facebook, social media, LinkedIn, Google. Trying to research investors who are in your sectors. The list is out there. Oftentimes, we come up with that list. There's also like directory. Once it's out there, and they usually, most of them based on LinkedIn. So the point is to know who's out there online. And then when you have access to their website, trying to subscribe into their website in terms of a newsletter. And the other part too is that pay attention to like global event that they have in person or even online. So like here in Boston, it's not really hard to have a list of director of investors. And also when you are in their website, they're really telling you their criteria. So you kind of have to read through and study it, So that's like the easy parts. It's not like, the easy part, like something like they're invisible like ninjas. So I would say use your online tools, use the global world. I mean, listen, you don't have to travel to knock at their door if you're far away. The first thing is research them. Angel investors, tell sectors, VCs, study them first from afar, meaning that go to their website. Here, because in person, obviously, there's a lot of networking events. They're there, you have to engage them, but you also take the time going in the website, learn what they want, don't assume. And then once you kind of get an idea of what they want, you can kind of cater, And oftentimes some of them have like open Zoom call right there online. It's a global world. I hope that answered your question, Eric. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so we're gonna start a Q&A. It would be important for Leonard to understand your business. So if you can tell Leonard a little bit more about what you're doing and what are your questions, that would be great. Who wants to start? If not, I've got another question. Yep, go ahead.
First of all, my name is Holland Hughes. We're just dealing with electronics manufacturing company, and we just have a project called Melinde. The Melinde project is just to help us, or help the world to protect the forests, because the forest have many challenges like fire or cutting the forest without any issues. So for us, our question is. What is a good time to find the good investors? Because we just face the kind of investors that just come and say they don't want shares. They needed to become they needed to become I forgot the word. They needed to become they don't want shares, so they needed to become like like an angel investors, but for kind of the technology they just want. They need us they give us a come country and we need to face. First of all, we need to accomplish the product, and we need to make sure everything is just everything we just do is going to happen to the right time and good for market. So our question is which way we can go, or is that good to work with that kind of investors? So we just struggle something like that. So we needed some answer, which is the good way to go on that kind of solution. Yeah.
Okay. Well, great question, great point. As I'm reading, good thing to automate it because of the background. Well, first, I think let me. Are you very clear in terms of how does in the forest space, who did impact? Does it impact the environment, the people, the community? Because I think angel investor will be a good idea. Also, foundation. But I think it's good to show in terms of what is the negative impact to be in that space. How is it impacting the community or the audience? And what is the clear solution? The investor out there, they exist, but I think it's first good to have like a game plan in terms of how you can show the negative impact and the solution. Have you engaged any type of investor yet, or no?
We just get some of the investors. They need to invest on us, but
And I'm sorry, what was their feedback? What was their feedback? You say you engaged some investors, right? What was their feedback?
Yes. Okay. First of all, they want us to complete the product, because just now we just have an MVP. It's not a ready product, but it's an MVP. So we say if we can finish this kind of product and go to the market, they can invest more money on us. Yeah.
Oh, you have an MVP product already.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Have you started like a pilot project with the MVP to build any some kind of traction?
Yes, we just keep starting from the MVP, because we just distribute that kind of the device for the small forest. So we get the results and we show them investors, and they say if we can meet that kind of that to go into the market for the small kind of quantity of products, they just invest. So what we ask is which is way to go for kind of this investment. We need to understand more how those kind of investors will just going to make them.
I mean, are you asking that when you say, do you need to understand more these type of investors? I'm answering the question because I know you have MVP, you have a product, but what is it that you stuck? You need to understand the investors, or you need to understand how you can expand your product.
What I want to try to say is how you can understand this kind of investors because it's
Oh,
new
gotcha.
for us.
Oh, okay, okay. I think overall, angels investors, because there's different type of investors, right? You have the VC investors, venture capitalists, where they want big thing, they want big money. They may want like maybe a big percentage of your product. If they see that this could be scalable, they may come ask and say, well, can we be on the board? Can we get big percentage? They're very aggressive in the way that they want it, right? And it's a good for you to understand what type of investor you're engaging in. You never say yes. You kind of negotiate. The angel investor, I feel like a good category towards what you're working on. An angel investor, they're really very flexible in terms of like, they may either become your mentor, your advisor, bring more partnership. They may invest a little equity. They really want to see the social impact. So they're more flexible. These type of investors, they usually may give you like a package that include mentorship, partnership, collaboration, or even take a percentage, but it's usually that flexibility because they're more in social cause, more in social problem, environmental stuff. Does that make sense? I just want to make sure you understand the different type of investors. But I'll be curious,
Yes, yes, it just makes sense so much. Thank you.
you're very welcome. Anybody else? Any other thoughts?
Don't be shy.
Yes, hello.
Yes.
Yeah, my name is Aden. I'm an entrepreneur doing AgroGene AI, which is a startup that we're helping farmers diagnose their crop and livestock diseases using SMS and web platform. So first of all, thank you very much because your presentation, most of the examples were based on agriculture and tech. So most of my answers got answered during the presentation, but I still have one question. When approaching investors, so how do we communicate traction that is not financial, maybe usage or maybe farmers feedback or maybe any social impact? So how do we communicate that kind of traction and not just financial traction?
That's a good question, especially in agriculture. The technology will come from here, from the West. We go over there with the tech, agri-tech, but we need the people. I think it's good to show that, hey, you can tell them, hey, we have a network of farmers. We have access to over 300 farmers. We're thinking about on this pilot project. And of course, most of our farmers, they may not be tech savvy, but we have a system in place. I think traction means that even if you don't have it, show that you're thinking about it, show that you're building. And traction is always about the audience. And we agriculture, I mean, it's tough, man. I'm not gonna lie, agriculture is tough. But I think is your ability to show that, and what we have been working on so far, we have a network of farmers. We also have a network of local partners that are gonna, help us, blah, blah, blah. And I think we project that maybe 3 months we'll start a pilot project. It's gonna cost this. But I think, so as long as you sell the vision, because you're looking for money, you don't have money yet. But it's kind of like to say, if I give you money, what do you have so far? What you working on? I think don't be afraid to think that, man, I don't have no financial traction. There's no hope. I think just show that, in terms of traction we are working on. In fact, what we have right now, we have a network of blah, blah, blah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that was very helpful. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Yeah, because another thing too is you got to be able to answer like, listen, what about farmers if they're not tech savvy? What are you going to do? We know what agri-tech tool can do. That we know what it does. It benefit the farmers, but you have to show the game plan in terms of how, and also making sure that you show you have access to a lot of farmers. So good luck with your project.
Sorry, Mr. Leonard.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
I want to ask you more questions. And
sure.
how these venture investors work? How the venture investors work?
Well, the way they work is that you have to first, I'll give you a simple homework, right? You go on Google, you type, what is an angel investors? And then they also have a website, they have a network. Many of them are also on LinkedIn. And it's all about building a relationship. But the first thing is to build a relationship with them, meaning that understanding what are the criteria, what they're looking for, right? I mean, I have access to a couple of angels investors. Maybe in the future we can talk to Eric and so on because I have a presentation next week. There's a lot of investors there out there, but be friendly, be flexible, talk to them, because they're quick to give you advice on the spot. Because an investor will come to you like, oh, I'm an investor, but you can ask them, oh, what type of investor are you? I know right now I'm talking to an angel investor because we're trying to do some digitized project across a couple of countries. As you know, what I've learned is that they're flexible, they're friendly, but regardless of who they are, I'll say if you more of a social person, environmental stuff, angels investor, but you can Google them. They have website, they have a network. They're also on LinkedIn, but I'll recommend first study the criteria, what they're looking for on the website, because you need to study what they want, what the criteria, and then once you have that information, you can kind of cater to what you're working on, be able to adjust. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you. And I have a more question. What is the difference of venture investor and angel investor?
Say that again.
I say I have a more question. What is the difference of venture investor and angel investor?
Venture. Oh, you mean venture capitalist, the VC?
Yes.
I mean, if we say, because like I said, so different type of investors, I think the VC venture capitalists, these folks, it's not like they're bad, right? It's able to understand the mindset. They're more of, the way they invest, they use other people's money. So they have a relationship with bank and institution. So they use their money to invest in project. And that's why they ask for a big return, I think an angel investor oftentimes is a foundation or group or maybe one person. One person who's rich will have money. They just, instead of donate, they want to kind of give the money, but also have a social, also understand the social impact aspect of it. In that aspect, if that makes sense. Sorry, I'm responding to this email. Who's this? Yeah. So the venture capitalist, the VC firm, they're the one who like wants, big return. They're the one who can come to you say, hey, you know what? This is a great product. I tell you what, can we either come on board? Can we have 80% or you become 20%? Can we have 50% on this idea? That's what you have to negotiate. You're going to be tested. You got to stay confident, believe in your product. You have to be negotiating. You have to also know that if you're building product, especially the product at scale, all this AI, deep tech and agri tech and so on. But I think an angel investor is more of like, how they invest, they kind of look an early stage and small startup. Also understand the stage two. Of course, you guys know that the pre-seed, seed, Series A, B, C. But I think angel investor, they take their time, they're flexible, small amount. They might say, hey, you know what? I don't think you need the money right now. How about some mentorship, partnership? That's the angel investor flexibility mindset. The VC, it's more sort of kind of aggressive. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And the VC firm, they're such a slow process because they really take their time. Because you're the speed, there's a process to it, there's a speed. Some go slow. I think the angel go more faster, but they're more flexible versus like, I think that the angel, in terms of the speed and process, they're more faster and flexible. The VC, they're like slow, because they really take the time. It's a trust thing with all of them, but the VC are more aggressive because they're trying to come with big money. I'm just curious to see what other sector folks are in, because I mean, if you're in Tanzania, of course, you got agri-tech, a lot of AI power, agri-tech stuff. So, and I think you're probably looking for funding for a prototype, 10 and 20 grand. I think that's usually an angel investor are more flexible if you're really in agriculture. You know, a VC are tough. They overlook a lot of pre-stage. At least you really tell them like, yo, this is gonna make $100,000 years from now. But they usually come later on. I say overall start with an angel investors. A VC will come in with $200,000 down the line. But if you're looking for a small budget around prototype to build a product, it's good to kind of get to know some of these angel investors. What's the criteria? Just some thoughts.
We've got time for one extra question. Who wants to go next? Okay, I'll do the 8-second rule. If there's no questions in 8-second rule, in the 8-second spam, we're gonna finish the lecture. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if there's no more questions, Leonard, I want to thank you and want to thank you all for attending. Hopefully this was helpful, and see you on Friday. And Leonard, see you in 2 weeks.
Yeah, in 2 weeks. All right. Thank you, Eric. Thanks, everybody. Good luck with everything, okay? Y'all keep up the good work.
Thank you, everybody.
All right. Have a good one.
Thank you so much, Mr. Leonard.
Okay, thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Thank you. Bye-bye.